Hi, I'm Emmett. 3 months ago, I thought missing my train was the worst thing that could happen to me that day. Turns out, getting on the wrong one was exactly what someone wanted. I was rushing through Grand Central Station, juggling my coffee and briefcase, trying to catch the 9:15 to Hartford. My business partner Marcus and I had a meeting scheduled with our accountant to finalize some paperwork for our tech startup. My dad had passed away 6 months earlier, leaving me his shares in our family software company, and we were merging everything into one entity. Track 7, I muttered, scanning the departure board. A station attendant walked by. Excuse me, which track for the 9:15 to Hartford? Track 9, sir, he said without looking up. I frowned. The board says track 7. They changed it. System slow to update. Track 9 leaves in 3 minutes. I sprinted to track 9 and jumped on just as the doors closed. I collapsed into a seat, breathing hard. That's when I noticed him. A man in his 50s, gray suit, sitting across from me with this weird smile. Cutting it close there, he said. Yeah, almost missed it, I replied, pulling out my phone. Oh, you didn't miss anything, he said, that smile getting wider. You're right on time. Something about the way he said it made my skin crawl, but I shrugged it off. I called Marcus. Hey, I'm on the train. Should be there by 10:30. What train? Marcus asked. The 9:15 goes to New Haven, not Hartford. My stomach dropped. What? Where are you, Emmett? I looked out the window, then at the electronic display. New Haven. I got on the wrong train. The attendant told me track 9. The attendant? Emmett, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Look, I'll get off at the next stop and catch one back. I'll be late, but... How late? Maybe 1 p.m.? There was a pause. Okay, I'll reschedule with Morrison. I'm really sorry, Marcus. This is so unlike me. Don't worry about it. These things happen. When I got back to Manhattan at 1:45, I went straight to the office. Marcus was at his desk, looking stressed. Hey man, I'm so sorry about this morning, I said. It's fine. Morrison was understanding. We rescheduled for next week. Did you tell him what happened? Yeah, that you took the wrong train. He thought it was funny, actually. Something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. 2 weeks later, my sister Rachel called me, panicked. Emmett, have you checked your business accounts lately? No, why? I was helping Mom with some of Dad's estate stuff, and I saw a filing. The company shares, they're not in your name anymore. What are you talking about? According to the State Business Registry, you transferred all of Dad's shares to Marcus, signed and notarized on March 15th. March 15th, the day I missed the meeting. That's impossible. I never signed anything. Emmett, there's a notarized document. Your signature is on it. My hands started shaking. Rachel, I need you to send me everything you found. Already did. Check your email. I opened the attachment. There it was, a transfer agreement, dated March 15th, 9:30 a.m. My signature at the bottom. Except, I was on a train to New Haven at 9:30 a.m. I called Marcus immediately. Hey, Emmett, what's up? Marcus, did we sign any transfer agreements on March 15th? Silence. Marcus? Oh, yeah, you don't remember? You signed it right before you left for the station. I was running late. We didn't sign anything. Emmett, you did. Morrison witnessed it. That's a lie, Marcus. I was never there. I was on the wrong train, remember? Another pause. I think you're confused. Maybe all the stress. I hung up and called a lawyer. My attorney, Jennifer Walsh, spread the documents across her conference table. This is forgery, she said flatly. And a good one. How good? Good enough that it got notarized and filed with the state. But look here. She pointed to the timestamp. This was notarized at 9:30 a.m. on March 15th. Where were you? On a train to New Haven. I have my ticket, credit card receipts, Everything. Perfect. So you have an alibi for being somewhere else when you allegedly signed this. I pulled out my phone. And I think I know who set me up. I'd spent the last 3 days going through security footage from Grand Central. I found what I needed. The man from the train, talking to someone in a station uniform. I zoomed in on the second person's face. That's my business partner's cousin Tyler. He used to work for Metro North before he got fired. Jennifer's eyes widened. So they sent someone to deliberately misdirect you? Gets better. The man who told me I was right on time? His name is George Patterson. I ran his face through a background check. He's a contract forger who's worked with Marcus's family before. You're kidding. I wish I was. Marcus needed me away from that meeting. They had someone who looked enough like me sign the documents while I was conveniently on the wrong train. I pulled up another photo. This is from a security camera outside Morrison's office. Same day, 9:20 a.m. That's Marcus with someone wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses. Can't see the face. Jennifer studied it. So Marcus brings in an impersonator, has them sign as you, Morrison notarizes it, either he's in on it or he was fooled, and suddenly Marcus owns 100% of a company worth $8 million? Exactly. We need more evidence. Can you get me the original document from the state filing? Already requested it. Should have it by tomorrow. Rachel came by Jennifer's office that afternoon. I talked to Morrison, she said. He's the notary. I asked him to describe the person he notarized documents for on March 15th. And? He said, and I quote, young guy, brown hair, about 6 feet tall, wearing a Yankees cap and sunglasses. Said he had pink eye, that's why the sunglasses. Jennifer leaned forward. Emmett, do you own a Yankees cap? Hate the Yankees. I'm a Red Sox fan. And were you wearing sunglasses that day? No, and Morrison knows me. We've met at least 5 times. Rachel nodded. That's what I thought. So I asked him, are you sure it was Emmett Clark? He got quiet and said, well, he showed ID and said he was Emmett Clark. He never actually confirmed it was me, I said slowly. Right. I think Morrison was sloppy, not criminal. He notarized someone claiming to be you without actually verifying. Jennifer made a note. That's negligence on his part, but it helps us. Marcus brought in an impersonator, probably someone who looks vaguely like you from a distance. I pulled out my laptop. I hired a private investigator, Sarah Chen. She's been tracking Marcus's financials. A video call opened. Sarah's face appeared on screen. Sarah, tell them what you found. Marcus made several large cash withdrawals in the 2 weeks before March 15th, Sarah said, totaling about $50,000. Then, on March 16th, the day after the documents were filed, he wired $25,000 to George Patterson. Another $15,000 went to Tyler Morrison. Tyler Morrison? Rachel interrupted. Yeah, different Morrison. Tyler Morrison is the former Metro North employee who posed as a station attendant to misdirect Emmett. Jennifer was writing frantically. This is premeditation. This is conspiracy. Emmett, we need to go to the police. Already arranged, I said. Meeting with Detective Ryan Torres tomorrow at 2 p.m. He specializes in fraud cases. Detective Torres sat across from me in the precinct, reviewing everything I'd brought. This is thorough, he said. Almost too thorough. Why didn't you come to us sooner? I wanted to make sure I had enough evidence. I know how these things work. If I accuse my business partner of fraud without proof, it looks like a business dispute. Smart. He flipped through the security photos. So let me get this straight. On March 15th, you were deliberately sent to the wrong train by an accomplice. While you were en route to New Haven, a forger impersonated you and signed documents transferring $8 million in company shares to Marcus Hayes. The notary, Morrison, was negligent but not necessarily complicit. And you have financial records showing Marcus paid the conspirators. That's correct. And you have your alibi, train tickets, witnesses, security footage of you at Grand Central and on the New Haven train. Yes. Torres made a phone call. I'm bringing in Marcus Hayes for questioning. Can you wait here? 3 hours later, I watched through one-way glass as they brought Marcus into the interrogation room. He looked confident, almost amused. Torres entered with another detective. Mr. Hayes, thank you for coming in. Of course. What's this about? The transfer of company shares on March 15th. Can you walk me through that day? Sure. Emmett and I had a meeting scheduled with our accountant. Emmett showed up early, signed the transfer documents, then left to catch his train. That's it. What time did he arrive? Around 9 a.m. And what was he wearing? Marcus hesitated. I don't really remember. Business casual, I think. Did he seem rushed? A little. He said he had to catch a train. Torres slid a photo across the table. Is this Emmett Clark? It was the security footage from outside Morrison's office, the man in the Yankees cap and sunglasses. Marcus's face went pale. Yes? That's interesting, because Emmett Clark was photographed at Grand Central Station at 9:17 a.m. getting on a train to New Haven. He has ticket receipts, credit card statements, and multiple witnesses. So who is this person in the photograph? Maybe I'm confused about the timing. Mr. Hayes, we have financial records showing you paid George Patterson $25,000 the day after this document was filed. We also have records of you paying Tyler Morrison, a former Metro-North employee, who was identified on security footage directing Emmett Clark to the wrong train platform. Marcus's lawyer leaned in and whispered something. My client would like to... Your client is under arrest for fraud, forgery, and conspiracy, Torres said. Stand up, Mr. Hayes. I watched as they handcuffed Marcus. His eyes were wild, searching the room like he might find an escape. This is a misunderstanding, he shouted. Emmett, tell them! We're partners! Torres opened the door and gestured for me to come in. I walked into the interrogation room. Marcus's face went from desperate to defeated. We're partners, I said quietly, before you tried to steal everything my father built. Emmett, please, we can work this out. I'll transfer the shares back. We'll forget this ever happened. I don't think so, Marcus. Please, I made a mistake. I was desperate. The company was struggling, and I panicked. I'll make it right. You didn't panic, Marcus. You planned this for weeks. You hired a forger. You paid your cousin to lie to me. You brought an impersonator to Morrison's office. That's not panic. That's premeditated theft. His lawyer put a hand on his arm, but Marcus shook him off. I gave you everything. I made this company what it is. No, I said. My father made this company, and you tried to take it from his son by putting me on the wrong train. The trial lasted 6 weeks. On verdict day, I sat between Rachel and Jennifer as the jury foreman stood. On the count of fraud in the first degree, how do you find? Guilty. On the count of forgery, how do you find? Guilty. On the count of conspiracy to commit fraud, how do you find? Guilty. Marcus's face crumbled. His lawyer whispered frantically in his ear, but Marcus just stared at the table. The judge looked at Marcus over her glasses. Mr. Hayes, you orchestrated an elaborate scheme to defraud your business partner. You hired criminals, falsified documents, and attempted to steal an $8 million company. Do you have anything to say before sentencing? Marcus stood shakily. Your Honor, I made a terrible mistake. I was under financial pressure, and I acted out of desperation. I deeply regret. You regret getting caught, the judge interrupted. Mr. Hayes, I'm sentencing you to 7 years in federal prison. Additionally, you will pay $2 million in restitution to Mr. Clark. Bailiff, take him into custody." As they led Marcus away, he turned to me. "Emmett, please, we can still fix this. I'll sign everything back. Just talk to them." I said nothing. Outside the courthouse, Rachel grabbed my arm. "How are you feeling?" "I don't know," I admitted. "I thought I'd feel different." Jennifer closed her briefcase. "Different how?" "More satisfied, I guess. Like justice would feel more triumphant." "Justice isn't about triumph," Jennifer said. "It's about accountability. Marcus paid for what he did. That's all it ever was." Rachel nodded. "He tried to destroy you, Emmett, and you stopped him the right way." "Did you see his face when they read the verdict?" I asked. "He looked shocked," Rachel said, "like he really thought he'd get away with it." "That's because people like Marcus always think they're smarter than everyone else," Jennifer replied. "He thought you'd never figure it out. He thought his plan was perfect." "It almost was," I said quietly. "Almost doesn't count," Rachel said firmly. "You caught him. You gathered evidence. You proved your case. That's what matters." A few days later, Marcus's lawyer called Jennifer. "My client would like to speak with Emmett," he said. Jennifer put him on speaker. "Absolutely not." "He wants to apologize. He feels terrible about what happened." "He should feel terrible," I said, "but I'm not interested in his apology." "Mr. Clark, please. Marcus is willing to publicly admit what he did. He wants to make amends." "Tell Marcus he had his chance to do the right thing," I said. "He chose to steal from me instead. I don't need his apology now." "He's asking for forgiveness." "Then he's asking the wrong person. I'm not in the forgiveness business." Jennifer ended the call. "You handled that well." "I meant what I said. His apology doesn't change what he did." "No, it doesn't," she agreed. 6 months later, I met Rachel for coffee. She smiled as I sat down. "You look good," she said. "Better than you have in months." "I feel better. Sold the company last week." "Really? For how much?" $12 million. I'm investing in a new startup. Clean slate." "No more reminders of Marcus?" "Exactly. I couldn't keep working in a place he'd tried to steal. Every day would have felt like his betrayal all over again." Rachel squeezed my hand. "Dad would be so proud of you." "You think so?" "I know so. You fought back the right way. No revenge, no anger, just justice." I smiled. "Sometimes justice is enough." "It has to be," she said, "because it's all we've got." Have you ever had someone you trusted betray you in a way that changed everything? What would you have done if someone tried to steal your inheritance while you were on the wrong train? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.